Hello, my darlings. I'm Faith from Faith and Grits, and I'm here for my first video on my little baby channel for 100 Days of Junk Journal Ideas, hosted by Rach and Bella's. The kit is the Billet Doux Love Letter Kit papers. Very shabby chic, very pretty color palette. I'll link Rach's, all her links down below. Check out the kit, check out the website. Please check out the collaboration. This is going to be really, really good. So today is my first video. I'm new on YouTube. I do get myself into a bit of a muddle in the beginning of the video. Please bear with me. So my idea for quirky or an unusual idea is what I like to call my walkabouts. Now, this is the first one that I ever made, and it's still with me. I've restitched it a couple of times and added new signatures to it. The tassel is very well handled and loved, as you can see. But it's an old mobile phone case that I've just gutted and added a signature to. I love it because I can stick my bank card in there. I can pop a pin in there, and with it as used as it is, I can squish a pin in there. And pop my house key on the back, and away I go. In my pocket, in my coat, in my bag, down the beach, up to the woods, have a walk, and it's got all kinds of random notes and things in here of just stuff that's, measurements I've taken of things. I've been in the hardware store many, many times with this, flipping through, looking for a random measurement, and I get the oddest looks from people because it looks like a mobile phone. But it's the versatility of it is just, I think, absolutely brilliant. So these are some other odd ones I've got laying about. It doesn't matter what kind of phone case it is, because you can just run with it. So that one opens sideways. I've got a sort of mushroomy themed one going on here. Depending on the case, you can squish quite a lot into them. And for the tassels and things like that, it's just dangles, bits of broken jewelry strung onto wire, different types of hooks. I like to use these hooks though because they're removable. So the video today is making a companion walkabout for Penelope, which is made with the Love Letters kit. So she needs a little walkabout to accompany her, and here she is. And she's really, really lovely, full of interest, and hopefully you'll stick about with me here for a bit and see how the process is done. Thank you ever so much for watching. Back in a tick. Right, here we are to work on our little walkabout to accompany Miss Penelope. So I've got an it's a second-hand mobile phone case from a charity shop. So it's still new. It's never actually been used. So the first thing we need to do is rip that out. And you quite literally just rip it off. And I pay maybe 50 pence for these in the charity shop. So that goes in the bin. Don't need that. And I've got some papers cut ready. This is the piece I've already inked in. It's just a bit of thicker cardstock to go on the back here to cover up where the phone case has been. All that gets left. So, but I need that opening. So all I do is just sort of line it up. And I think I will go ahead and cut out that bottom one as well. Get it where I want it. And of course I don't have a pencil. Why would I have a pencil? It's rolled off somewhere. It'll turn up. So just draw a little outline in there for what needs to get cut away. And I'm just going to use a craft knife to remove this little void. And right, now that little bit is those little, try that again, Faith. Those two little bits now have been cut out. It's a little rough on that edge. That's fine. You're not going to notice that. I am going to try to get a little bit of ink in there, just on those edges. Will it work? Maybe. I'm just really hoping I don't mess this up at this point, because this is the only phone case cover that's remotely colored for Penelope. So now, there we go. So that just needs to get stuck down now with some art. I did think about stenciling the outside of the case, which I've done in the past, but they don't tend to, it tends to rub off. Because the whole point of these is that they're in and out of your pocket all the time. So the outside kind of needs to just be what it is. Is that lined up? Yep. And some art now onto the back of that. So no, I've anything can be turned into a walkabout. Old pocket diaries can be ripped apart. Get some right around the edge of that hole. Anything can be turned into a book with a little bit of imagination. But I do like the concept of these, using these phone cases. And having had one for so long now, I really, really like it. See if I can get this lined up now and stay on camera. Honestly, since starting this channel, the types of things you've got to remember, and like staying on camera, not sticking your head, not sticking your head in between what you're doing and the camera. So no, let art do its thing there a minute. Get the pen and the glue. There we go. So right, I've got a collection of papers here. Some of them Rach's kit, double-sided. These have had tucks folded into them. So to just spread them out a little bit and work out some sort of pretty order to put them in. So I want that. And then that one, a blue lace dye, and one of those. I've got these four, which are double-sided, that still need to get trimmed. Put one there, one here, there, and there. Now I've got 3 pieces of that Amazon paper. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 of those lace doilies. There and there. So assemble these up. And I can go back and rip down edges and make sure I've got a size that fits in. And I've made these before as well for journals that I've sold on and just used scrap bits from the journal making process, really. Because it doesn't really matter what type of paper you throw in there. I haven't done one with elastic, but you can, once the signature's full, it's easy enough to cut it out and sew a new one in. Pull these down. I want to get the fingers to work. And this is, I think this worked out to be like 17 pages. You don't want thick card. Well, you could use thicker card in there. You just have fewer pages then. All those folded down. Now, that's more or less my signature to go in. All different sizes. So then I'm just going to go back off camera and rip these down. And by ripping them down, I quite literally mean ripping them down. So I might sort of go back with my ruler and just tear. Actually, let's just go for it. Some of these I need to go back and trim with scissors. Put that back down, that doily. And just rip it down to size. Check the top in a moment. There we go. Oh, missed one. Oh, I can go back and neaten some of these up. Check my height. Is okay. Some of that Amazon paper needs to be taken off, just the top and the bottom. So that's just putting the signature together. I'm gonna go away now and get some stitching put on these, and we'll probably do some inking and rounding corners, and I'll pop back on. Right, I do apologize. I got myself such a muddle with nerves. I don't know why. So what I've done is I've gone back and stitched those tiny flaps on those pages. And that's because you don't need much. It's such a small little thing. But those flaps will keep things from falling out. So receipts or any sort of random bits and bobs can be put in there. So I've edge punched a couple of Rach's pages, and I've done some wonky sewing on some of the tea-dyed pages just for a bit of interest. So let's get this signature together. And it is 17 pages I've done here. I could probably squeeze in a few more, but for today I think that's fine. Those lace doilies like to wiggle about. Make sure they're all the way in. And there we go. That's the signature done. Signature's done, ready to go in. Close is lovely. There's space now. I'm not really worried about those corners for this one. I want to possibly get something into that top slot there. That back is going to have a ring with a dangle and a chain. Not sure about that. I may just leave it. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to ink it, but I've changed my mind. So don't go in for nerves. Just do it. Just do it. So I am going to have a go inking. I'm going to play Mr. Tim Holtz inks new, because they will not last. They will fade and they will come off with moisture. 2 stencils I've used with Penelope has been that one and that one. This one is a Lavinia stamp, and I think it's more repeatable to go on here. So I'm going to leave that Stamperia one for now. But I've had a little play on an old one, and I'm going to go with Stays On. Stays On Timber Brown. but go in a bit light with it. So just that front bit there. And just go in lightly with it. Again, this is my only go because this is the only phone case I've got that's sort of not in a wacky color. So let's go in very lightly and see if we can get some pattern onto that cover that won't fade off with use. Because of course Stays On is more of a solvent based ink. So it's not got an unpleasant smell to it, but I am quite conscious of using it sometimes. Let's have a look. Only one chance I got. Oh, I like that. There we go. Let's get it onto the other side. And I might give that spine a bit of an ink. And perhaps do a bit on the inside as well. So, yeah, just to give it a bit of interest. I had a test. I had a really hideously pink phone case in my stash over here. I had a little play with VersaFine Clair and the Tim Holtz inks, and the Tim Holtz just, you can mist water on it and it all just rubs off. Because of course this is like a vinyl that's on here. So look. Oh, happy with that. Get some on the fob there. Lovely. Go back around the edges maybe a bit. And this stuff stays on dry so quickly. I think I've said in a previous video, some of the ladies in Craft Club with me are very particular about their inks. And I had a lady tell me once, oh, VersaFine Clair, oh, they're all rubbish, all rubbish. You got to use Stays On for everything. And I just laugh. I'm like, okay, yes, ma'am. Now here we go, and just go for it and do it. So there's our, should we get some on the inside as well? Yes, why not? Do I stick something in there to mask it? It's not going to work, is it? Try it again, Faith. There we go. Get a bit on there. Yes. Maybe a teeny bit. Just on the top. That's the way to do it. Teeny bit just to highlight the tuck spots there. There we go. I might go back off camera and see if I can get some more onto these edges. No. There we go. Clean my stencil. And so no, signature's ready, case is ready, on to those extra embellishments and binding next. So, give me 2 ticks to get some things together. Right, I've gathered some things together, ready for binding. Because of the way that the phone case is shaped, I've found the best way for binding is to get my signature in there, get your thumbs in there, make sure everything is closed up, sort of plumb as square as you can get it, and by holding the sides and pressing down that way towards the center of the spine and holding it firm, open it up flat, keep some pressure in the center there, and clip each side. Again, a little bit more tricky to do on camera than how I would normally position myself to do it. That's sticking my head in the way. So I've kept pressure on that center there, and we're still inside the case. So get that on my sacrificial punching surface, and somewhere in the middle, and just guess. Stick it in the book. So through there, and I use quilling needles instead of awl. I find the quilling needles are thinner, they're very sharp, and better than using an awl. So your central hole has got to have that little bit of a wiggle, because you've got to go through it twice, and just one punch through the other two holes. As I said, when I was binding Penelope, the binding process was always a mystery to me, and I get it now because you've got to be at such a weird angle. It's a difficult thing to film. So here we go. I've got a piece of wax thread on there, in, and through that side. And again, with other junk journaling techniques and processes and binding processes, I mean, there's so many different ways you could be even more elaborate with doing this, but this isn't meant to be elaborate. It's meant to be something that you shove in your pocket and go, and to inspire you when you're out and about. Oh, come on. Watch us all go horribly wrong on camera. There we go. That's the way. So let's check to make sure I haven't gone through the thread. No, I'm good. So that's bound nice and taut on the other side. I did go back after I paused, ready to gather things up, and I tidied up some of the inking on the cover with that stays on. I wish I had a lighter version, but I've only got 3 stays on colors to choose from at the moment. There we go, and I might go back and add some dangles to that. I don't know yet. As I said, just go for it, just do it. There we go. So, oh, I'm upside down. Oh, please say I haven't done it upside down. No, I haven't. So these need a bit of going over with a bone folder to crease them down. But as I'm going to say in the introduction, you know, paper is much like wood. It learns its shape. It knows where it's supposed to be. So there we go. I'm bound in. And pleased with that so far. It needs a bit of something now. So watch the space. I'll be back. Right, and I'm back. I've gathered up some goodies to do the dangle, the tassel, and hook to go on the back here. I've decided to leave that hole and leave the front. I've gone through all my broken jewelry, all my buttons. I can't find anything that resonates with me to go with the color palette for the front. So those will be left, but there'll be a nice chunky one off the back. I found that keychain. It had something like World's Best something or another on the front. So I've just popped that off with my quilling tool. I've got a wax seal that's been done on some lace, and I've put a bit of extra PVA on that. So that's going to get glued in onto the keychain to go on the back. Let's beak it out again if it cooperates, and a wipe. I always forget to get a wipe out first before I turn the camera on. So that's just going to get stuck on. Come on, beacon. There we go. Wakey, wakey. And like I said, I put some extra PVA on that wax seal, so it should hold up to a little bit of abuse. Lid back on. Gently, gently. And pop that on so the wax seal is more or less up against that plate. It should give it a bit of protection. There we go. So that can go away to cure for a minute. And like on my original, I use these removable hooks to go through the back case because they can be popped off and on. So if you want to put your house key on there, or if you want to attach, you know, a pin or something like that. Got some broken bits of jewelry, some rings, the tiniest little baby tassel. I'm not even sure where that came from. Some woolies. Ow! That was a piece of wire. I forgot I put that in there. And then I've had these off of broken necklaces. I find them in charity shops and I cut them up. So I'm thinking that one for the tassel. So for my tassel, I've just got to get all of this through there. So there's a few different ways of doing tassels. So I'm just going to scrunch it all up and then attempt to get it through. That's not going to happen there. I might have too much here. Let's try with the wire. Put a piece of jewelry wire in there and put my loop in and see whether or not I can pull it through. Is it going to go? Give it a bit of welly. Yeah, it's coming through now. So it's all in there now. Take my wire out. It's all in the center. And then all I'm going to do is try to tie it as tightly as possible around the base using a bit of twine. You could use wire, but for this one I'm just going to do this. And I'm just going to clip that to something heavy. My little pot. Just so that I can get a purchase on it. Now there's a few different ways you can do tassels. You can do it this way, and you can also do it in another way with jewelry wire where you do it in a giant X. But for this one, I want to make sure that it's nice and secure. So get that as tightly around that bottom as I can and give it a knot. Pull that through. Come on. Get it close to the top as I can. I hope this works. And then around. Now that I've got some tension on it, take it off. Around the other side. Oh, stay on camera, Faith. And another knot. And try not to get my woolies caught up in the knot. But if I do, it's not the end of the world, because I'm going to trim a bunch of them off. There we go. And again, and give this one about 3 good knots. So that's 1. And 2. And 3. So just some bits of lace, bits of woolies, but it's now attached via the ring, which means that it can loop. Sorry, I'm not even looking to see if I'm on camera. May have to go back and do this again. So yeah, it's looped on. It's not going anywhere. Nice and secure. It just needs a fluff and a trim now. So that can get hooked. Show you what I mean now. My ring. I've gone with that ring. These do come in different sizes, and they've just got a notch that can be undone. So on the back of here, you've got that notch. The tassel can go on. The keychain can go on. Anything can be attached to the back of these. These rings are quite new, so they're a little bit stiff. And your book still closes, and you've got this loveliness dangling off the back. But I'm going to give it a bit more loveliness, but I'm going to have to do that off camera. So it's going to have a trim. I'll do that after. But I have bits of broken jewelry, little bits of broken jewelry, some beads, bits of broken charms, some gold wooden beads, and things like that. So I need to sit down off camera for just a bit with my jewelry pliers and my jump rings and attach the broken jewelry to the dangle. So I'll jump back on then and show you the finished walkabout. Give me 2 ticks. Right, and I'm back. And she's had a haircut. Well, the dangle has anyway. Lovely bits and bobs added to her. Very textural now. So we've got some broken jewelry pieces. That little mini tassel. Some beads. Some more bits of broken jewelry. So she's ready to go now. So onto the back of here, she will get clipped. So my dangle goes on, my keychain goes on, anything else you fancy, clip it onto the back. It's easily taken on and off and slides up out of the way. The clasp is still working. Now keep in mind, that's the original, and that's the new one I've just made. Those papers will relax over time and use. And as you can see, Penelope has had some She's had some bits put in. I've had loads stuck into here, and it's still going strong. The tassels relax over time, and the more they're sort of handled and shoved in and out of bags and pockets and all sorts. So you still got your, this is my old gift card. I use these for cutting up for angles. So you've got your original pockets here. So shove a bank card in there, shove you some cash in the back, house key on the back, something to write with, and away you go. So for this one, I've stuck in some odds and sods I had laying about from Rachel's kit into those side tucks. I've added a few gold butterfly paper clips onto the pages. So again, the more these pages relax, the more it will hold really over time, and the more you shove into it. But no, that's it. A walkabout for Penelope, ready to go along with her. And she still needs a bit of work. She still needs a bigger dangle or tassel to go up on the side. So that's all for me now. Thank you ever so much for being patient with me today. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see some of you back again soon. Thank you ever so much. Bye for now.